Hello and welcome back, my dear listeners. Today, we have a collection of 5 paranormal encounter stories. I know how much you guys love those, so always good stuff with these things. So if you like your paranormal encounters and you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Also, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. That is greatly appreciated, and I love to see those numbers go up because that means I get to bring these fun stories to more and more people. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, so you know what? Y'all have a fantastic Friday. Have a great weekend. Yeah, so here are 5 paranormal encounters straight from Reddit. Enjoy. This happened a long time ago. I'm 26 now, and I was about 16 to 18 years old at the time. I just want to put my experience here so I can remember it and be able to look back and read it when I'm way older. I lived in a remote area off the side of Highway 69 here in northern Ontario. It was wooded forests, swampy marshes here and there, wintertime, snowy, but I forget the time and date. Me and my girlfriend at the time were at her place alone for the night. We hung out, watched movies, etc. We were going to sleep when we started to hear the dog outside whimpering. Now this little dog barks like a damn maniac at anyone or anything coming close to the driveway. The house was the last one on the long dirt road that leads further onto the Georgian Bay. Mind you, we are only like 600 meters from the highway, if that. Just some insight. Anyways, after a few moments of the dog whimpering, we hear something start to slowly come up the front stairs. These are the type of stairs that go up to the side of a house and directly to the door. These stairs passed by the living room window. It sounded like a bipedal thing slowly stepping up each step with a loud thud that seemed to slightly shake the porch or house or something. Like real aggressive coming up, but still slow and content. While this was happening, I'm asking my girlfriend if she knew who it could be. A drunk neighbor, maybe? She said she didn't know. We were super freaked at this time, and we were already freaked out at the dog whimpering. The amount of fear I had was overwhelming from the sound this thing made. It sounded large. The thing got to the front door, which was very close to her bedroom, and made a huge bang or thud on the door. Not in a knocking manner. This knock kinda shook the entire side of the building. It did this about 7 times, each about the same effort. We freaked a ton laying there while this was happening, because you could just feel that it was bad. The thing walked back down the steps the same way it came up. We laid there forever waiting for something else, like a window tap or something, the whole time freaked right out. We then got up and went to check the front living room window. The dog wasn't whimpering, but still hiding in his doghouse at the bottom of the stairs. The light on the porch was on, and we didn't see any footprints. None in the driveway, none up the road towards the neighbors, nor the highway. It creeps me out thinking about that time. It just came upstairs and banged on the door real hard about 7 times, then walked back down the steps and left, I guess. The presence gave off really bad vibes, and was just creepy and overwhelming. I know it couldn't have been a person. That's all I know. Anyone know what it may have been? I have experienced different paranormal things and events throughout my life, and have always been an on-the-fence believer. Working in theaters for so many years, I'd heard things often, seen a few things here and there, but nothing got under my skin as much as the subliminal haunting I experienced. I had just moved with my parents into an older house in a new state and town. The previous owner had left a lot of things behind, mainly storage bins in the attic and a few decorations. I would always find the most interesting things in my room. I was in my 2nd year of undergrad and staying home for the summer, and I started having these dreams. In these dreams, I was always very sick and dying, or someone I loved was dying, and they needed a bone marrow transplant to live. I dreamt about this every night until I left to go back to school. Then, I was obsessing over it. All I could think about was donating bone marrow, to the point that when I heard a Be the Match rep was coming to my campus, I signed up to donate with them without even thinking twice. As soon as I signed up, the dreams and obsessions stopped. It was like I was finally calm and all this deep-rooted anxiety left me. I texted my mom that I had made a big decision and wanted to call and talk to her, and she called me almost immediately. "The weirdest thing happened to me today," she said. I told her that I had had a weird day too, but she continued. "There was a 5K that went through our neighborhood today. I asked around to figure out what it was for, and it turns out it's a race to raise money for this bone marrow transplant charity in honor of the woman who used to live in our house. She died waiting on a transplant? Isn't that weird? And we didn't even know it. Sometimes seeing things or hearing things aren't as scary as feeling things deep inside, like the need to help when someone is in need, even if that someone isn't alive anymore. A call for help beyond the grave? I stayed on the list for a full 3 years and plan to continue being available as a donor. I urge you all to look up bethematch.org and consider making a commitment too. So here's a little backstory. From a young age, I lived with my grandparents in their house with my older brother. My garage was haunted, I guess, by a man who had lived there and passed away previously. He wasn't evil or anything, he just wasn't too happy when people went into his space, the garage, and he never left his place. I never told anyone in my house that I could feel his presence, as I didn't want to be made fun of, but on New Year's Eve of 2016, we were all around our neighbor's house, and my grandma brought it up. She said that it was haunted, and everyone kept saying, "Nah, it's not." And I looked at them all and explained that it is, and I felt the presence as well. No one believed us. Knowing about the presence in the garage, I can get on with my story. From a very young age, I was afraid of the dark. You know, just an average fear. I used to hear noises in my right ear, and I would always feel like something was standing by my door watching me. This happened every night from when I was 7 until I was 14. It got worse and worse as I got older though. It started out with just a bad feeling that I could brush off to an intense fear of something being there that didn't feel good at all. I would wake up dripping in sweat because I was so scared. I heard noises and sometimes felt like I couldn't even breathe. But one night, things went too far. It was like every other night. I woke up in the early hours of the morning, around 2:45, and broke into a cold sweat. It was all silent for about 10 minutes, then I heard the cutlery drawer from the kitchen downstairs being opened and fiddled with. At first I thought it was my granddad, but he was snoring his head off in bed. Then I thought Grandma must be down there. But then she coughs in her sleep, and a chill went down my spine because it wasn't my brother either, as he was at his mate's house. I was petrified and decided to close my eyes, but then I heard someone walking up our creaking stairs. Being the 12-year-old I was, I hid under my blanket, closed my eyes, and faced the wall. Whatever came up the stairs came into my room and stood in front of my bed, breathing heavily into my ear. I held my eyes shut, and then out of nowhere, my duvet was pulled off me and flung to the end of my bed. I was completely paralyzed and my heart was pounding as I heard the heavy breathing next to my ear. After a minute or so, the thing left my room, but I was paralyzed for at least another 5 minutes. As soon as I regained movement, I grabbed my covers over my head and forced myself back to sleep. It has never happened since, but to this day, no one has ever believed me, and they blame it on an active imagination or sleep paralysis, and I don't suffer from sleep paralysis at all. If anyone has any idea of what it could have been, I'm open to hear suggestions. Today I decided to go with a few of my friends to a pretty popular haunted bridge in my town. Tourists come here to experience creepy encounters and such. Anyways, the story behind Theorosas Bridge is that a Native American woman was running from some bandits with her baby when she came across a creek and threw her baby into it in hopes that the bandits would not torture it. The baby did not survive, and neither did she. Right away when we get there, we start hearing footsteps and stuff all around us. We heard a group of people under the bridge, but when we went under there, nobody was there, and we only found a lone leg bone of something kind of small. When we went back to the bridge, we heard movement again. 2 of my friends got creeped out and went back to the car, but me and my other friends stayed. We did the ritual which you are supposed to do there, which was going to the ledge and saying, "Theorosa, Theorosa, I have your baby." Then we started hearing faint crying sounds and footsteps coming toward us as the crying got louder. We went back to the car, and as we were walking back, I looked back to the creek and saw a dark figure just hovering. I don't know what it was, but we hauled ass back to the car after my friend asked me if I saw it too. Alright, so basically, I've known this guy since before I was born. He was one of my dad's closest friends, and was even his partner in managing their gym. Let's just call him Jay. Jay was the sweetest guy I knew, always helping my family out, whether it be with moving after we got evicted, or giving us his old car after ours broke down for good. Just a few months ago, Jay got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. No one had seen it coming since he had no noticeable symptoms, and my Uncle Doc, another one of my dad's pals, was a doctor for 50 years and saw Jay every day at the gym. I lived, and still do, live thousands of miles away from the gym in California. So visiting him wasn't an option for me and my family. Anyway, we all knew he had only a few weeks left before he passed, and no one could do anything about it. Even worse, his wife had to deal with it all firsthand. Obviously, everyone that knew Jay was insanely sad and miserable. I guess sharing this post is my way of finally accepting that he's gone. It was a clear night, and I was staying up late listening to music at my desk. The pale moonlight has a way of drifting into my room through the large window, so that was all the light I needed. All of a sudden, I get an uncomfortably large bit of sadness, like a heavy weight just plopped itself on my shoulders. Then, I smell Jay's signature cologne, as well as the feeling of a gentle hand on my right shoulder. I tear up. Being 14, I didn't really know how to handle it, so I just went into my mom's room and laid down. I think Jay died, Mom. I had no way of knowing for sure since my mom turns off the Wi-Fi at night, so no one could have told me. But that morning, my mom said that Jay passed on in the night, around the same time he came to say goodbye, 11 p.m. His pictures are hung up everywhere along the gym, and there's a glass case filled with all of his trophies, shoes, etc. I never did get to see him again, and I regret not saying hi to him the last time that I saw him. Enjoy people while they're still around, because you never know when life will decide that their time is up. Well, there you go, my dear listeners. Those were 5 Paranormal Encounter stories. I do hope you enjoyed them, and if you did enjoy them, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button to let me know you liked the video. Also, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you really enjoy this kind of thing, because I love doing it, and the more subs I have, the more people get to listen to my voice read these stories. Also, if you really feel bold, please do consider leaving me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Down in the description of this video, you will find the source for every single one of these stories, as well as links to my Facebook, Twitter, subreddit, and a link to a page where you can submit your story to me so I can read it for my channel. That was some odd emphasis that I just added there. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you on the next video, but until then, my dear friends, sleep well.